In the early 18th century, the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean became the hunting grounds for one of history's most feared pirates, Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard. His name alone sent shivers down the spines of sailors and merchants alike, but his true legacy lies in his mix of brutality, cunning, and showmanship. Born around 1680, Edward Teach likely began his career as a privateer during the War of the Spanish Succession, learning the ways of naval combat and seafaring. But after the war, he turned to piracy, joining the crew of Captain Benjamin Hornigold. With Hornigold's mentorship, Teach rose quickly through the ranks. When Hornigold retired, Teach took command of a captured French slave ship, refitting it with 40 guns and renaming it the infamous Queen Anne's Revenge. With this massive and heavily armed ship, Blackbeard unleashed terror on the high seas. He wasn't just a pirate, he was a performer of fear. His most distinctive feature was his black beard, which he braided and adorned with ribbons. Before battle, he would light slow-burning fuses in his beard and around his hat, creating a cloud of smoke that made him look like a ghostly figure straight out of sailors' nightmares. But Blackbeard was not all bluster. He was a shrewd and calculating leader who avoided unnecessary violence when possible. His reputation for ferocity often led ships to surrender without a fight. Blackbeard's fleet was formidable, and at its peak, he commanded several ships and hundreds of men. In 1718, Blackbeard performed one of his most daring acts, the blockade of Charleston Harbor in South Carolina. With his fleet, he seized incoming and outgoing ships, holding them hostage while demanding a ransom. Not gold or jewels, but medicine. Charleston's leaders had no choice but to comply, sending a chest of medical supplies to the pirates in exchange for the safe release of their ships and crews. But Blackbeard's luck began to run out later that year. After intentionally running Queen Anne's Revenge aground to escape pursuit, he accepted a pardon from the governor of North Carolina and attempted to settle down. However, the lure of piracy was too great, and he soon returned to his old ways, raiding ships along the coast. Blackbeard's resurgence caught the attention of Virginia's governor, Alexander Spotswood, who sent Lieutenant Robert Maynard and a small fleet to capture or kill the pirate. In November 1718, Maynard's forces confronted Blackbeard near Ocracoke Island. The battle that followed was bloody and chaotic. Blackbeard's ship, Adventure, engaged Maynard's forces in a fierce firefight. But Maynard used a clever trick. He hid his crew below deck, luring Blackbeard and his men into thinking the British ship was unmanned. When the pirates boarded, Maynard's men sprang out and overwhelmed him. Blackbeard fought valiantly, armed with pistols and cutlasses, but he eventually succumbed to his wounds. When his body was examined, Blackbeard was found to have been shot 5 times and slashed over 20 times. To make an example of him, Maynard had Blackbeard's head severed and mounted on the bow of his ship, a grim warning to other would-be pirates. Despite his death, Blackbeard's legend has only grown over the centuries. Some say his ghost haunts the waters around Ocracoke, searching for his lost treasure. Others believe he embodied the spirit of freedom and rebellion that defined the golden age of piracy. Blackbeard's story is one of power, fear, and mystique, a reminder of a time when the seas were untamed, and a man with enough ambition and audacity could become a legend.